Good morning and welcome to today's edition of my real estate workshop webinar. Today is September 30th, end of September. We've gone into fall and now we're looking at winter months approaching us. So it's very important, especially in a lake community like Apple Valley. And if you're a owner non-occupant, that you properly prepare your home and your toys for the winter weather coming up ahead of us. So today we are going to discuss the best ways to winterize your home, your boats, your inboard, outboards, your lawnmower, your lawn tractor. We're gonna get you prepared for winter. Hot tubs, swimming pools. So all right, let's share our screen and get started right now. All right, so here we go. All right, so winter is coming. So do you know how to protect your lake home investment? You don't want your home looking like this, which it won't here in Apple Valley. But if you're living up on Lake Erie, there's a good chance you might see your house looking like that in the winter. Anyway, my name is Mike Pillow. I'm a Realtor Century 21 Home Star and the 21 Mike team serving Apple Valley, Knox County, and surrounding counties. I go all the way down into Columbus. So give me a call for your real estate needs. You can call me or text me at 740-504-6251. And you can also email me at mikepillow0707 at outlook.com. Okay, so why does winterizing matter? Well, we need to protect against the freezing temperatures. Water expands and it'll start to break pipes, break pumps, and crack engines. And it's important that you want to preserve the value you have in your property. Well-maintained property sells faster and for more. So if you allow your pipes to freeze over the winter, then as it thaws, you're going to have a lot of water damage. And especially if you're looking to put your house on the market this winter, or I'm sorry, this summer, next spring, next summer, you may be putting a lot of money into your investment. And back to my point, a couple $100 now with a little preparation, it can prevent thousands of dollars in later repairs. And we're busy through the winter. We have all the holidays. We have Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah. Yeah, there's so much going on in the winter. Plus, it gets dark at noon. Our days are shorter, and the last thing you need to be doing is worrying about if your property at the lake or even at your home, if you're living away from Apple Valley, you know, your your lawn care tools. You just need the peace of mind that you've taken care of everything. All right, so lake home winterization basics. And this is true for just about any home, but especially for those who are non-owner occupants that they may only come down to their house once or twice during the winter. So you want to make sure you shut off and drain the main water supply and all your lines. You want to get the water out of there. Um, Insulate the pipes in the crawl space, in the basement, exterior walls. You want to service your furnace and get a professional in there to service your furnace and your heating system. Change out your filters. And if you're changing your filters yourself, take a minute to write down the date so you know when the last time you did change your filter. Should be changing it at a minimum at least once a quarter. That's a minimum. And make sure you seal your windows and your doors and any attic openings. This includes any openings that you have coming into your attached garage. Test proof. If you have any cracks or holes, where a mouse can get through just about anything. But if you have any kind of hole that a mouse or any other creature can get through, stuff that hole with steel wool. They will not chew through the steel wool. So secure all your gaps with steel wool and make sure that all food sources, whether it's bird seed, dog food, cat food, is properly stored in a plastic container where it doesn't emit any kind of scent. And then install a Wi-Fi thermostat and security cameras for remote monitoring. Especially like if you're not coming down for the winter or coming into Apple Valley for the winter, put a couple security systems down, around your water heater. Put a camera near your water heater, your main line, and I would strongly suggest throughout your basement where you could have any water leaks. Put a camera, near all your pipelines. That way, you can periodically monitor your home from wherever you are. And with the Wi-Fi thermostat, you can control the heat in your home from wherever. So if the forecast is projecting some deep freeze type of weather tonight, you can get on your phone and raise the temperature at your house just to protect everything. All right, swimming pools. Swimming pools are always closed in the winter. Balance the water chemistry with winterization chemicals. Lower the water level below skimmer. Drain your pump, filter, and heater, and blow out the lines. Get all the water out of there, and install a solid or mesh winter cover. Now, hot tubs. Hot tubs, you have two options here. If you're closing down your hot tub for the winter, drain it completely. Blow out all plumbing, clean the shell, clean the filters, cover it securely, add moisture absorber or an RV antifreeze in the lines to prevent freezing. And if you're using it all winter, keep the temperature steady. Don't cycle hot and cold. Just keep it a steady temperature at all times. Check the water chemistry more often than usual, especially in freezing weather. Maintain the water level above the jets. Invest in a thick insulated cover and make sure you clear that cover from snow and ice. Don't let that weight get on there and create gaps or cause damage to your cover. And have a backup plan for power outages. Have your hot tub set up on your Generac generator. If you don't have one, make sure you have a generator on hand where you can quickly get it hooked up, or wrap it in an insulated blanket. So your gas powered tools and equipment, such as your lawn tractor, your lawn mower, weed eaters, chainsaws, leaf blowers. Why does this matter? Why do we want? So these are often forgotten tools. They sit out in the shed, and people tend to forget about them. Well, it matters because fuel will go stale within 30 to 60 days. And you don't want to be cranking that in the spring, running bad fuel through it. And you don't want to drain your tanks. A lot of people believe the myth that you should drain your tanks and store it over the winter, and that actually causes more harm than good. You want the gasoline in your tanks because the oil in the gasoline works as a lubricant and keeps your gaskets and seals in good order. Keeps them from drying out. If they dry out over the winter, you may be looking at some leaks come spring. So keep your tank full, but make sure you use Sta-Bil stabilizer. Just follow the directions on the bottle, or how big the tank is. put that in there, and you're good for the winter. It's real simple. Batteries. Remove any batteries that you have in your like a lawn tractor. There's even some push mowers that have a little battery, for electric start. Remove the batteries. Bring them inside. Store them on a wooden shelf, not on a concrete floor. Store them on a wooden shelf, preferably in the basement or in the garage is fine, but basement, I like to keep mine in the basement because it's warmer. And it's not a bad idea to keep your battery on a trickle charge. Just a slow trickle charge keeps it fresh, keeps it ready to go. Then when it's time to put it back in your tractor, put it back in your lawnmower, your battery's ready to go. Some added steps for storage. Like I said, add the stabilizer to fresh fuel and run the engine for 5 to 10 minutes. Get it through the line, then top it off. Now, I meant to take this out. Drain tank and carburetor is storing for 6 months, greater than 6 months. I and many others will disagree with that statement, but uh, consult with a professional. I'm not a professional, so don't take any of this as the gospel and say, "Oh, Mike, you made me lose my motor." These are the practices I've used for many years, and they've worked for me and my father and my grandfather and brothers. Most of my neighbors. But if you have any questions about what I'm telling you, consult with a professional. You should change your oil before storing. Remove the spark plug and shoot some fog cylinder lightly. It's an oil, and then you're just gonna put your plug back in. You're just fogging your engine. You're fogging the cylinders there, and what it does, it prevents rust. Disconnect and remove batteries, which we talked about. Trickle charge it inside. This is a good time to sharpen and oil blades or chains on your chainsaw. And make sure you store in a dry, ventilated shed or garage. Okay, so now we're going to talk about inboard boat engines. Again, you can do this winterization yourself or take it to a professional. Right here at Apple Valley, we have 3 marinas within one at the back. It's Apple Valley Marina. At the front of the lake, you have Outlaw Marina, right there inside or outside the front gate of Apple Valley, and across the street from Outlaw is Morris Marine. All 3 marinas are highly reputable, and I would advise using a professional to winterize your boat, unless you really know what you're doing, because your engine is the most expensive part of your boat. Without the engine, your boat's just a piece of junk. It's a lawn ornament. People plant flowers in a boat that doesn't run. So, what you want to ensure, whether you're doing it yourself or you're having a professional do it, is to make sure you flush the cooling system with fresh water and circulate marine safe antifreeze. Make sure you add the stabilizer to the fuel, run for 10 minutes. You want to fog the cylinders to prevent rust. Drain exhaust manifolds and hoses. Grease linkages, inspect any belts. Disconnect and store battery inside on a trickle charge. And you want to service your lower unit. The lower unit, you need to drain the oil or the fluid and replace it. It's a good time to check your seals, check your prop, make sure it didn't get entwined with any fishing line over the summer. The preparation you do now in late fall will make boating so much easier and so much enjoyable come spring, and a lot less expensive. Outboard boat engines, and they're not called motors, they are called engines. You hear everybody say outboard motor. Motor is electric, engines are gas, and these outboards, they do run on gas. 4-stroke, very similar to a car engine. 2-stroke, you have to pre-mix the oil according to the owner's manual, but they winterize basically the same. You want to flush with fresh water, stabilize the fuel. That's been a common denominator. Run to circulate, top off. You're going to fog the cylinders and lubricate the fittings. You're going to tilt the engine fully down. And this same goes true with a lower unit on an inboard. You want to tilt it all the way down and drain all the water. And it should be stored over the winter, tilted all the way down. Because any water that may collect through rain or melting snow, you want it to drain off that lower unit. You're going to remove the prop, grease the shaft, and check for a fishing line. And you're going to store the battery indoors, preferably on a trickle charge, and make sure that you or a professional is also servicing that lower unit. Don't skip every other year. Do it every year. It doesn't cost that much. Service your lower unit. Think of it as your transmission. You should be servicing your transmission every 40,000 miles on your vehicle. You want to service your lower unit on your inboard and outboard lower units every year. All right, a bonus tip. In the spring, don't allow any marina or any professional who is servicing your boat to offer to de-winterize. If they're storing your boat over the winter, of course, you're going to have the battery. You put the battery back in. There is no de-winterization to your boat. What you're going to do, as soon as you launch your boat and you turn it on, it's going to blow all that fogging oil out through the exhaust. That's de-winterizing. So don't pay a couple $100 to de-winterize your boat. Tell you what, if you want to pay somebody, I'll do it for half cost. Come get me. I'll de-winterize your boat for 50% of what any marina or professionals want to charge you. I'm just going to launch your boat and I'm going to drive it. All right, next, jet skis, or PWC, which stands for personal watercrafts. Again, we're seeing a consistent pattern here. You're going to flush the cooling system. You're going to add stabilizer and run briefly. You're going to fog the engine and lubricate steering and throttle. You're going to tilt and drain completely. Remove and store battery indoors on a trickle charge. And you're going to cover securely and add rodent deterrents. And I have a bonus for you on the rodent deterrents when we start talking about the actual boat storage, which is what we're doing now. Boat storage options. Boat storage options, you have indoor or heated, or they can be either heated or unheated. And the pros to indoor storage, it's the best protection you can provide your boat from the weather. You're not getting any UV damage. It's easier for servicing if you're servicing late in the fall, which I know a lot of folks will do that. They'll run their boats right up to Apple Valley. Will start lowering the lake on November 15th. I know a lot of folks that will pull their boat out on November 14th. I get it. They want to do all their fishing. It's great fishing at that time, but they want to get every ounce of summer they can out of the season. I personally don't like power washing my boat in the cold. I usually pull mine out mid-late October, depending on the weather. Right now it's like 80 degrees, so I want to keep it in for as long as I can. But I don't like power washing in the cold. I don't like winterizing my boat in the cold. And I don't like doing the prep work of storing it in the cold. So if you're storing it inside, it makes that prep work so much easier because you're in a building. Now the cons of interior boat storage, it is more expensive. There's limited availability, limited airflow, and that's huge because when you're in a building, you're not getting that wind blowing through your tarp, blowing through any gaps that you have or any vents you have. So what happens is you get condensation that builds up inside your boat from the changes of the weather. And without that ventilation, you could go get your boat in the spring and find that you have some mold spots on your seats. And with that, and with the next one, a slow retrieval, when I'm ready to put my boat in the spring, I want to put it in. I don't want to wait on a marina or a boat storage professional to finally get to my boat. I mean, you take a look at some of these boats back in this picture, they're back in the corner. When do you think they're going to be coming out? You're at the mercy of the marina who's storing your boat. And I don't like that. That's me. All right, outdoor storage. Now you could shrink wrap your boat, which is probably the ultimate because that shrink wrap, it does breathe. And that plastic will, the snow will just roll off that plastic a lot easier. Or you can use a winter cover. I like using a winter cover. I put a light coat of sealant on it, spray sealant. I don't go crazy with it because I want it to breathe. But my covers are also vented. I make sure I vent my covers with. If you look on this picture, the gray or the gray cover on the pontoon is equipped with 4 vents in there. It allows air to come through. And I also, my front door, actually all 4 of my doors are available. I can get to them and open them very easily. If we have a stretch of decent weather where we're not getting a lot of snow, I'll actually open those doors. That allows air to get through. It's important to get air through. That's why I prefer having it outside because you get that air blowing through it. Keeps your interior dry. If you look at these pictures, I disagree with how all these are positioned. I like to put a higher peak on my cover so the snow doesn't accumulate. The pros of storing outside: lower cost, convenient for spring access, especially since I have it in at my place. When I'm ready to put it in, I put it in. Better airflow, like I've already talked about. The cons: it's exposed to freezing weather. It's freeze and thaw, freeze and thaw. Covers can rip. I've had that happen. And rodents are more likely to get into your boat. One thing I also do is I always keep an old cover, and I go to Lowe's and I get some insulation, and I put in the insulation in that cover, and I do wrap my motor or my engine. See, I said motor. I wrap my engine in that insulated blanket. One, it keeps it out of the weather. Two, it just keeps it warm. If there's any water whatsoever in there, it helps keep it from freezing. Now, the pro tip that I promised you: if storing outdoors or even storing indoors, invest in shrink wrap with vents, but rodent prevention. I've done it for years. Mothballs. Throw mothballs on the floor of your boat. Yeah, it stinks terribly in the spring. But, you leave that, take cover off you clean up your boat before you put it out on the lake. By the time you get it out to the lake, that smell's gone. But you also want to put mothballs around the wheels and the front tire jack. Rodents, um, whether it's mice or raccoons, possibly they won't even go near the wheels. They won't get on your trailer if they have mothballs around there. Done it for years, never had a problem. All right, so common mistakes to avoid. You don't want your boat looking like this. Forgetting to stabilize fuel. You're going to have clogged carburetors. Draining but not blowing out water lines. Draining is not enough. You have to blow out the water lines. Leaving batteries connected outside. You might as well just go buy a new battery next spring. Using cheap tarps instead of marine grade covers. You know, your boat's a pretty big investment. Invest in the right equipment to store it, and not checking on stored boats or equipment periodically. Another reason why I like storing it at my house. We get a snow, I'm out there with my leaf blower blowing the snow off my cover. I don't allow it to accumulate. If we get a heavy snow overnight, I'm out there with a push broom getting the snow off my cover. As long as I'm doing that, I never had a problem with it ripping. One key note, don't double up your tarps. I know people who will take their regular boat cover they use all summer long, and they drape a winter cover over it. Bad idea. One, if you get a real heavy snow and it rips, you rip both your tarps. Now you have to get a new cover for the summer. But you're also blocking airflow. You want that airflow going through there. Put away your fitted cover. Go get a winter cover and use only the winter cover, or go get it shrink wrapped. All right. So again, my name is Mike Pill. I'm a Realtor Century 21 Homestar. You can contact me by phone or text at 740-504-6251, or send me an email at mikepillow0707@outlook.com. And how can I help you? You know, winter is rough on lake homes and toys. I have a free winterization checklist for Apple Valley homeowners or anyone out there. Just send me an email with your name, your phone number, and say you want your free winterization checklist. And while you're at it, request my digital ebook, Homeowners Playbook. It's a guide for buyers and sellers of real estate. Just let me know when you're thinking about making a move, and I'll send you both the winterization checklist and my digital ebook. Free charge, no charge whatsoever. I can help connect you with a trusted local service provider, whether it's for your HVAC system, boat storage, pool care, hot tub care. You know, I can help you out with that. You know, get you hooked up with a professional. I'm happy to advise buyers and sellers on protecting their property value. And I can provide seasonal updates and real estate insights year round. Again, shoot me an email, request the winterization checklist and my digital ebook, and sign up to get seasonal updates. Your monthly market, my monthly market update, and any Apple Valley news. I send that out once a month. Just stay connected with me for seasonal homeowner tips and market updates. And again, don't forget about my ebook. I think you'll find that beneficial. So, like every Tuesday, we end it with the boys. The 21 Mike Team K9 Division. We have Bentley, who is the team CEO, Finley, and Amos. Their special message to you again this week is, remember, you're not the only one looking for a home. Make sure you go visit your local dog shelter and adopt your new best friend today. Till next week, you have a good day. Thank you.